how's it going? So, for about a year, probably over a year, I have been stuck in the book of Nehemiah. Like, I try to read other books of the Bible, but I always end, like, back at Nehemiah. And it seems silly to me because I can read the book of Nehemiah fast, right? I've been reading the Bible for like 35 years. Come on, I keep coming back to the book of Nehemiah. But that's also the great thing about the Bible, right? There's always more truth to be had in it, to get out of it, layer upon layer. Anyway, so I decided I'm going to do a little journey with me, on the book of Nehemiah. So while I read through it, you can get my, whoa, what the heck moments. All right, so I don't know if you do this, but occasionally when I do this, when I read the Bible and it goes from chapter 1 to chapter 2, I'm like, so the next day, next scene, right? And that's the problem, for lack of a better word, with chapters, is we don't always grasp the timing in that. So anyways, started Nehemiah 1 because we're back to Nehemiah, right? And so Nehemiah 1, he talks about, sorry, let me get it correct for you. So in the month of, I'm going to say this incorrectly, my Hebrew classes, I promise, will one day pay off. Kislev, in the 20th year, while I was in the citadel of Susa. So this is Nehemiah telling you where he is and how long he's been there, right? And the month. So some say late autumn, but it's probably closer to like November, December, at least on this current calendar. Okay, so his brother comes, and it says brother, so there's debate on whether it's his like biological brother or brothers. Anyways, they come. He's like, hey, how's it going in Jerusalem? And they're like, dude, it's a mess. Like, the walls haven't been restored. Everybody's depressed. This is horrible. So Nehemiah gets really depressed and really upset. So he starts praying, right? And he's like, God, this is horrible. Like, I know you said that if we didn't follow your ways and everything, that you would scatter us, but you also promised that you would bring us back and that you would rebuild us. And just hear my prayer and hear the prayer of the other righteous people, right? So he goes through this couple of verses worth of prayer, and he repents for the sin of his people. Not like, I've been here, I've been holy. He repents for the sin of his people, and he reminds God of his promises. And then so we get down to verse 11. So Lord, let your ear be attentive to the prayer of this your servant, and to the prayer of your servants who delight in revering your name. I'm using the NIV. And then he says, give your servant success today by granting him favor in the presence of this man being Xerxes. I was cupbearer to the king. Okay? So, in my head, Nehemiah has always said this prayer like, I need favor. We're going to fix this problem. And goes to work to go ask the king, right? But that's not what happens. Because in chapter 2, next verse, in the month of Nisan. So that's like March, April. So Nehemiah, it's been 4 months. In the month of Nisan, in the 20th year of Xerxes. So here's the other thing. So that means Nehemiah was probably there up to a year before Xerxes became king. So he's been there the whole time that Xerxes has been there and has been king. So they have a relationship. When wine was brought before him, I took the wine and gave it to the king. Now, I mean, he could have waited 4 months to bring the wine to the king, but I highly doubt that was the case. It does say that he mourned and fasted, but the thing is, when you went before the king, you couldn't be sad, right? You always have to be happy in front of the king. And he says, I had not been sad in the presence of the king. So the king asked me, why does your face look so sad? You're not sick. It looks like your heart's sick. And he says, Nehemiah says, I was very much afraid. Because it's like illegal, basically, to be sad in front of the king. Right? So I was wrong. Like, that Nehemiah was plotting to go to the king and fix this. Could it be that this was just Nehemiah's prayer for the day? Right? Like, hey, so God, this is what came up. this is how I feel about it. This is what you promised about it. And I'm going to pray and fast about it. By the way, I got to go to work. Please give me favor in the presence of this man. He's been working for him for 20 years. But I think it was his daily prayer. I really do. Like, so, like how you have a prayer list. So like he's praying and he's like, now I gotta go to work. And he was sad. So he's like, give me a favor, like help me buck up in front of this king. I mean, it could have been like, hopefully nobody tries to kill the king and poison him today. But I mean, Nehemiah asked for favor when he didn't, I believe, I'm extrapolating out of this, when he didn't need anything. He needed to stay alive and he needed his job. But, I mean, when the king was like, you look sad, and Nehemiah goes, oh, crap. I let my emotions come out, like, at my job, right? And it says when the king asks him, what is it do you want? It says, then I prayed to God. So like he prayed mentally, right? Like, oh, please. In his spirit, like, what do I do? What do I ask? And God's like, ask this, right? So it's not that God doesn't grant favor, like in the moment, right? He's granting it in the moment. And it's not that he doesn't grant it when you don't have the relationship. But I think we need to be careful. Like if we're just praying for favor with somebody to develop our relationship with them, to get something out of them, that's not right. I mean, Nehemiah had favor with the king. This is why the king granted all of this. But obviously Nehemiah was faithful, right? And that's probably what the king saw. When he saw it, he's like, this is my faithful servant. He's a righteous man. He's a good man. He saw the character of Nehemiah. And the character of Nehemiah, partnered with the favor of God, was unstoppable. All right, so that's my 2 cents worth of chapter 1 and 2 beginning of 2 on Nehemiah. Hey, if you guys have any comments, want to say anything, just put it in the little chat guy. All right, talk to you later. Bye.